Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to my fashion bunker. Today I will answer a question that has been asked to me many times. The question has been formulated in different ways, but basically a lot of you want to know tips on which brands, luxury brands, and we're talking here only about luxury brands, are producing secretly in China but are stating that they're producing in Europe. With which brands to stay to be more cautious, and tips like that. So basically, this is a very difficult task. It's hard for me because, nobody has real 1000% evidence and proof that certain brands produce in certain countries more than others. But like sometimes it's just common sense, because the more you produce and the more demand there is, and the smallest and smaller is the amount of product you can produce in a small factory with a couple of artisans that know their craft within Europe, because we're talking global distribution here of many luxury brands, and not just global distribution, but also opening of new stores every year. More and more and more new boutiques open up from every brand from year to year. And it's not that craftsmanship and people that can produce these luxury goods, and in particular bags, are multiplying as quickly as the stores are opening. This is a problem of capitalism, people. That is the problem of all of those, couple of people sitting on the top of the pyramids within these companies, the so-called managers, the so-called directors, the so-called few, which can be counted on half of the fingers of a hand, like 2.5 basically people per company, that are billionaires. Those people need to have their profits, have to have their 30% growth every year, to prove to the company, to the capitalistic world, that things are going better, that the company is growing, healthy growth. In order to do that, you gotta cut costs somewhere. You gotta cut quality somewhere, because you don't have enough people to produce the quality that you could have produced in the 90s, for example. Just an example, like I could have also said 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, even the 2000s. Were better quality than we get today, because there's double the amount of product that has to be produced, because the demand is humongous, and there's more and 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 more people that want to buy, and less and less people that know how to make these products, and that have the time to produce these products, that have the time for quality control, that have the time to remake a product if it doesn't pass quality control. And also there's less and less time to produce pieces, because more and more have to produce in the same amount of time you needed to produce a bag in the 90s, the same amount of time you were given, for example, to produce 10 bags in the 90s. In that same time, you got to produce 50 today, or even more. So we got to be very aware of that. So it's not the fault of a company, and this is where I wanted to get to. I couldn't get to it in the comment sections below, because it's a very long topic. But what I want to say is, if you love the heritage of a certain brand, if you love the designs of a certain brand, if you love the way it looks when you wear it, go for it. If you have the money, don't think too much about made in China or not made in China. I'm the type of perfectionist and person that could not live with it, knowing that there's that sort of trickery going on behind my back, and that's being, at the end of the day, stolen from my wallet, because production in China isn't paid right. The people there, not just China, but mostly everything produced in Asia. In Vietnam as well, labor isn't paid fully, isn't paid properly, isn't paid enough. So why are we spending $5,000 for a bag if it was produced, if the cost of production is like 150, maybe two, let it even be 300. It's not, but let it be 300, because they got to ship it, there's customs, all that sort of shebang. They got to do the last stitching in Europe to be able to say that it was made in Europe, and all that stuff. Let it all be and add up to those 300. I do not want to give the rest of that money to those 3-4 people that are sitting on top of the pyramid. You know what I mean? Chanel. I do give gladly more money to Chanel, because at least they deliver with every freaking fashion show. The money I give, a lot of that money goes into their marketing and into the production of their publicities, of their beautiful fashion shows. I mean, their fashion shows are pieces of art. So much money goes into them. That's what I appreciate. But if you go cheap on me, on a fashion show, on an ad campaign, on all your production behind the scenes, then you cannot justify humongous prices for bags. I do work with a lot of people, I can't say names, that have stopped working with certain high luxury brands because they have figured out that they do produce in China. Because of how all of a sudden they deal with the buyers and they deal with the stores that kind of sell their product. And I'm not talking about high-end brands that only sell within their own boutiques, but also those luxury brands that sell to other retailers as well. And I cannot give you a list of all of these names. I don't want to bash brands because it's not just about pointing a finger at them and saying, you produce in China and you produce in China and you produce in China. But it's also because some people still love the dream behind what a certain brand can give you. So what I want to say is do your homework, and your homework being talking to the essays, trying to figure out as much as possible about, and don't be shy to ask questions, to ask as many questions as you want about, when did you receive this bag? Can you tell me in which factory in France or in Italy has it been produced? Oh, you can't? Oh, okay, is that a secret? Google it, try to figure out which factories produce that particular product. Is the bag sturdy enough? Are the stitches well made? Does it give you a feel? The smell, most importantly, of the leather, you know? And some leathers and some paints used for leathers smell a bit more toxic or less toxic. That's another giveaway. How long the bag holds before it starts falling apart, or before it starts losing its color, or before it starts losing its shape. Now, some bags lose quickly their shape because they're very delicate bags. Not a luxury good does not equal a tank. So forget that. Just because you're giving out so much money for a luxury product, that does not mean you're giving money for something to hold up forever. Forget it. That doesn't exist. That's a wrong way of, that's a total mistake in your mind. A luxury product means you're buying into a dream. You got to take care of that dream, otherwise the bubble will burst. So do not overstuff your bags, your luxury bags. Do not think that they're going to withstand anything. They won't withstand anything. They will probably perish if they're leather and dyed leather underneath the sun and the heat, or if you stuff 50 billion things in your bag. That's not going to happen, people. Even if the bag was made in the Olymp of France, it's not going to hold up to that sort of pressure. But yes, as time passes, more and more brands kind of pop up as being red labeled or black labeled as probably producing elsewhere than in Italy or in France. So I would be very cautious with anything, literally anything that does not have MS or Chanel printed on it, really, because, and even with MS sometimes, you know, I've also heard news, rumors, you know, mentioning carrés and scarves being produced elsewhere, not really in France. Everything is possible, people. At this point, you know, we're living in a world where misinformation, disinformation, lack of information, or wrong information is being just spread out there all over the place, and we have less and less opportunities to kind of look through the mist and the fog and all of these rocks that are placed in our path towards the truth. We have more and more difficulties to move them all aside and see the actual truth. We have less and less of that. So we have to be very cautious. That's why I say you have to sort out your priorities. You have to know whether or not you're ready to swallow that option and possibility, that nasty possibility that the bag might be partially or completely produced outside of France or Italy, even though the tag on the bag states otherwise. If you buy into the dream, you buy into the dream. You got to close your eyes, trust it, and just let yourself drop. If you are the least susceptible to skepticism or skeptical way of thinking, and you are annoyed by all of the rumors, and you're annoyed by all of the information that's spread out there, by the books that have been published about the topic or on the topic of production outside of Europe, but then stating that the things are produced in Europe. If that disturbs you, then just stop buying altogether luxury goods, because the way our capitalistic world is spinning, at the speed that it's all growing, the bubble is going to burst sooner or later. So there's no avoiding the fact that quality is going down. Whether or not the bags are produced in China, Italy, France, or your mama's house, it's still going to go down in quality, because more and more and more demand is out there for fewer and fewer and fewer brands. However, that is also true, because we also have globalization going on, and less and less and less people that know their craft to produce these pieces, and more pressure on the few that are left that know how to make these pieces. More and more pressure is put on those people to make more and more, but they can't. You literally cannot produce the quantities demanded from you in a smaller amount of time than you needed 5 years ago. You just can't. You're getting older too. I mean, at a certain point, like, these companies have to stop. Now, sometimes some luxury brands stop production of certain products. One, to keep the value of the product high on the market. Two, because they want to give the people that know how to produce these products time to also heal, and the time to produce slowly the pieces. And three, because in this way, they do not damage the image of the brand. Now, capitalizing on, maximizing, I hate that. Let's maximize profit. No, people. Those few directors that are on top of the pyramid should not be given those huge salaries and those million dollar bonuses or boni at the end of the year. They should be given less money. And the money should be distributed to actually invest in educating people to produce your luxury goods in the future even better. This is my personal opinion. So yes, I buy into the dream when I buy luxury goods, and I don't want to know too much about it, because I'm just going to get a headache, and I'm just going to feel disgusted by my own self, and by them, and by myself, meaning myself accepting to give out all that money to a fake illusion. An illusion is per se fake, but luxury is a bubble. It is an illusion. Do we want to dive into it? Then we gotta just close our eyes and dive into it. Otherwise, we just shouldn't. And everything else is not luxury. You know what I mean? Unless you're not living luxury, but then you got to be really rich. Not like a couple of us that can afford a bag from time to time. That's not real luxury. We buy a luxury bag, but we don't live luxury. Luxury is everything. Having your private jet, having your private chef, whenever you feel the need to fart, somebody's there to clean you, to clean you up. That's luxury. But we, the people who struggle, who wake up in the morning, go to work, come back after work, have to make our own food, feed our families, children, mothers, fathers, whatever it may be. We do not live the luxury life. We buy into a product from time to time. And of course we're frustrated because that one product we can afford from time to time is even that is a trick. And even that is taken away from us. And even that little illusion, that little bit of illusion of luxury that we want to own for ourselves is taken away from us. And I get it that it's painful, and I understand that it's a problem. But that's all we got. We got each other, we got love, and from time to time, like a person like me that has the obsession for beautiful objects and bags in this case, because we're talking about that in particular, we have that illusion. I have that illusion for me from time to time, and I love it, and I'm living it, and I'm enjoying it. But of course, sometimes it's frustrating. That's why I stay away from almost everything nowadays. Luxury that is not, either signed by Chanel, Louis Vuitton, or Hermes. There you have it, guys. I love you. I hope to see you very soon. Share this video. If you liked it, thumb it up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you wish to see more. Love you guys. See you very soon. Take care. Peace out. Mwah. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out some of my other videos. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So come on over, guys, and join the fun.